Hello and welcome to another unboxing and review. This time it's for something I'm quite excited about. It's the new Suunto Run sports watch. Adventure starts here. So without further ado, let's start unboxing it. And inside you have a rather nice box which contains the watch, a quick start guide, the strap, the band. This one's a black one, and I think there's pins inside. Yeah, the retaining pins. Got I believe this is probably the instruction manual. That's the instruction manual. And last but not least, the charger. This is the charging unit, so that's a USB-C magnetic attaching charging unit. Onto the instruction manual. This is a quick start guide, so quickly gets you up and running. It's a few kind of pages on how to get the watch up and running and to attach the band or the strap. This is not an instruction manual as I first thought. It's really just a product and regulatory information booklet, so I usually just chuck this back in the box because it's of little or no use. So attaching the magnetic charger, it's actually that way up, so the Suunto logo should be situated, should be upwards, and that should connect like that. If you try to do it the other way, it won't actually catch the magnets, it will actually repel, so that's the right way. This is not as strong as the previous some of the previous generations of watches. My current one is a much stronger magnet, but you know, it seems to do the job, so I'm not going to pay too much criticism to that. We got 36 grams including the strap, which is an extremely lightweight strap. So I'm just going to briefly demonstrate the functionality of these watches. Now Suunto have always gone for a 3-button design to control the navigation and the functions. We got the top button, the bottom button, which acts as a back button. You got the top button which activates your last used activity, and then you got and if you long press that, you can set various shortcuts. The same with the bottom. I've set mine to be the heart rate because I've got this sitting on a dummy. I'm not registering the heart rate there, so press back. And the crown, if you quick press it, you get the list of exercises and activities that you can track on this. And also if you long press, that'll go into settings. And also you can access all of this through the touch screen. So if you swipe up, down, and you can swipe from the left and the right according to what you're doing. So I'm just going to demonstrate the functionality of the watch. So the crown, if you twist it like that, so clockwise or counterclockwise, it does the same thing as swiping up or down. So if you swipe upwards, you start at the top of that list, so you got the various functions, apps and things like that. Crown is, you know, swiping up and down is the same as using the crown. I prefer the swiping. It's a bit more of a natural action, because when you're turning the crown, especially when you've got it on your wrist, it's not the easiest thing to try to control and turn. So I much more find the swiping up and down just to access those functions far easier. So if you swipe from the right side, you get the workout modes, and you can edit those. So you got quite a few built-in exercise modes there. And the bottom button is always to go back. However many levels you are into the menus, you can always use the bottom button to go backwards. The top button functions as a quick start mode, so you can quickly get into an exercise, and I think that defaults to the last exercise that was used on this, which in my case was running. And if you notice, two flashing icons, a heart and the GPS. The heart's not going to obviously pick up a signal because I've just got this on a dummy's wrist, so the heart rate would never kind of activate or lock. GPS, because it's indoors, it may or may not pick up. But anyway, once those two stop flashing, they turn green to indicate good connection, and you're ready to start your exercise by pressing the crown, and it indicates which button you need to press. If you scroll up or down, you can activate the various, you can set various options for the exercise that you're about to do. So for instance, free training, duration training, distance running, calorie training. So you can set all of those according to what type of, customize your individual workouts as you're about to do them. Navigation, so you can have the navigation, you can set the various navigation options there. And in the exercise settings, so you can set this depending on what kind of workout you're intending to do. You can set this accordingly, so you can set the battery performance. If you know you're going to be out on a long endurance run or activity for that matter, then you can set the battery performance accordingly depending on how much battery you actually have and need. Set it to auto pause, and again you can set the various options. So you can turn the heart rate on or off to conserve battery perhaps, or maybe you don't want or need that information. You can also turn the touchscreen on or off. You can have audio feedback. I quite like audio feedback because I'm very rarely staring at my wrist. I only really stare at my wrist if I'm coming up to, say, a mile marker or something. So it's good to have that audio feedback, because you can then glance at your wrist rather than just continually staring at your wrist while you're out out and about. Media player, you can turn that on or off. I've got mine set to on because I like to be able to play and navigate my music. And you can also pair devices. So you can pair additional devices such as heart rate monitors, headphones, etc. directly to the watch. So you can use various accessories in conjunction with the watch. So the last option on there is feeling. That's just really a smiley face, which you can use to set your kind of rating for that particular activity, exercise, run, whatever it is you've just finished. So you can later then check to see whether or not you enjoyed yourself or you didn't enjoy yourself. So I'll just quickly go into the device pairing. So you got various different categories: headphones, heart rate sensor, and foot pod. I'm not going to connect to any of these because I prefer to accessories directly to my phone. Okay, so it has locked onto GPS. Generally, if you're in a clear area and you've got it snugly fitted on your wrist, your GPS and your heart rate will generally pick up in about 30 seconds. Okay, I'm going to show or demonstrate a few of the built-in routines are specifically based on running, because that's basically mostly what I'm going to use this for. One of them is the marathon tracking. So if you go, I've obviously recently used that function. So it appears at the top of that list. And if you go into, and I'm just going to pause there and lock on a heart rate and a GPS. Okay, so with the marathon setting, so that's the estimated finish time, that's the pace per kilometer, and then there you have the heart rate, that's the distance, and then the outer ring is the percentage completed, so it goes from 0 all the way up to 100%. So you got a nice all-in-one, you can glance at the display and you got all the key information that you need. And just demonstrating one other running mode, the kind of open-ended running mode, which is kind of free running or training. I'm not gonna bother waiting for the GPS signal or the heart rate, so I'll dismiss that. So that's the overall elapsed time. You got the distance, you got the pace per kilometer, heart rate, and then you just got the outer ring, which signifies 4 different stress zones. So that's easy, medium, hard, very hard, and then maximum over there. Just going to scroll into, so the setup of this watch is, so you got the core functions of the watch, and then you've got various apps or utilities or widgets, or depending on what you want to call them. Training volume, progress, recovery, logbook is just a log of all the activities and exercises that you've done on there. And then you got what's called an outdoor category with sunrise and sunset on there, and you can set that to notify you with alarms as to when sunrise and sunset are. And you've also got at the bottom the moon phase. At the moment it's 100%, so that's a full moon. You've got compass. Now the compass may or may not work because you sometimes need to just calibrate this. Okay, I did calibrate it a few days ago, so it seems to be okay, and that gives you the altitude, the bearing, and also the air pressure, altimeter and barometer. So you can analyze your ascending or descending. So if you like, for instance, climbing or running hills or mountains, it'll register the relative change in altitude over a period of time. That's over 6 hours. So at the moment we're at an altitude of 49 meters above sea level. Obviously, navigation. So again, I think this is going to try to lock a GPS signal, so I'm going to abort that. I'll try and do that outside if I can. Steps and calories. So that's a quick view of your steps and calories, and then you got various statistics for the last 7 days or so, and you've also got, you can set your daily targets. Heart rate is just the heart rate monitor, and as I say, you can navigate by the touch screen, or you can press the crown button there, and that gives you heart rate information. Because I haven't got this on my wrist, this is not registering the heart rate at the moment. And you can set that to 24/7 heart rate monitoring, or heart rate alerts, depending on how high your heart rate is. It can alert you that your heart rate is getting a little bit high. Okay, so that's heart rate. Blood oxygen, last time I measured was 10th of June, I think that was yesterday, and it was showing a blood oxygen of 99%. So okay, I think that's fairly self-explanatory. You can have a breathe reminder, so you can have an alert on there. So you can have a breathe reminder, which basically is a cue for you to practice breathing. You've got built-in weather alert. So at the moment it's, so that's it, that's your forecast. Yeah, so that's quite a good, quite a detailed forecast. Alarm clock functions. You can set multiple alarm clocks, turn them on or off according to what you need. You got a timer, which is a countdown timer as well as a stopwatch. Flashlight. Flashlight is, I don't find the flashlight function particularly useful. All it does is it turns the screen white. You've got the media player, which allows you to play your music, so you can navigate to your music. Now this is not connected to any device at the moment, so I find my phone, you can locate where your phone is, pressing that and then activating some kind of beep. Settings, you got, let's have a look. So you do OTA, over the air software updates on this, so you can directly update software on the watch, time, date, language, region, the units that you use, your personal information, i.e. your weight, height, etc., and your sex. You can also activate power saving, which further helps to increase battery life. Reset settings, that allows you to essentially reset to the whatever default or factory settings. Reset just allows you to reboot the watch and power off if you really need to. Connectivity, so you can turn it to airplane mode, so if you want to completely deactivate any notifications or whatever, you can activate that. I haven't got any paired devices, so there's nothing in there. And then mobile app is the Suunto app, and you can turn on discovery, so you can easily discover and connect this watch onto the outdoor options. So you can start the compass calibration. It's best to do that outdoors, and once you go in, I'm not going to go into that just yet. Once you go into that, you can set the, you can calibrate according to the instructions. Set the compass units, I've got them to degrees, and the position format, all fairly standard stuff. Altimeter. So here you can actually try to calibrate the altimeter or barometer. I would just leave that as it is, because I think that's from the factory, that's reasonably accurate. And then you can turn on the sunset and sunrise alarms. They're quite useful. Storm alarm even. So if you've got a storm coming, you can pop up the alerts. So within the activity and training, so you can set your daily targets, I think they are. So mine is set to 10,000 steps and 50 kilocalories. The weekly goal is 3 hours worth of exercise. Set it up to alert you with a stand-up reminder or a weekly summary. So sleep allows you to set up the sleep tracking function, and you can set the various parameters like a target of 10 hours per day, and it can monitor blood oxygen, HRV tracking, set up your target bedtime and wake up time, and you can set up a do not disturb or a wake up alarm. At the proposed notification. Alarm and notification is where you can set the notifications that come to the device. This is like message notification, call notifications. Focus mode. What is focus mode? Yeah, okay, so if you don't want to be disturbed by incoming messages, calls, all that sort of thing, you can set that up, and you can set it up according to schedule. So do you not want to be disturbed between specific hours, like for instance bedtime? The tones and the vibrations, so you can set the watch has got audible and haptic, so you can receive notifications by tone, vibration, or vibration and tone. Set the alarm clock to tone and vibration, and accordingly the other notifications, so alerts, mobile notifications, phone call, and the pressing of the crown. So last but not least on this is the displays. Set the display, at the moment it's set to medium, set it to high or low, and that will accordingly impact on battery life and also how well you can see. I have got it set to medium, and I think it's acceptable. If it's very bright light and you need to, so going back, you can set the display to be always on, so the time will constantly be displayed on the device. The impact of that obviously is reduced battery life, but for me or others, that's perhaps a sacrifice to be made to be able to view the time whenever you want to without having to activate any buttons. You can also set the raise to wake, which is once the wrist is raised to a specific position to view the time, the screen automatically activates itself. And you can set the screen activation time to between 10 and 60 seconds. So if it detects no further activity or whatever activation, then it will turn itself off within that period of time. So you can set the wrist that you wear this on to either left or right, so depending on whether it's a dominant arm or a left arm, it does some kind of I believe adjustment to the heart rate monitoring. So obviously on the dominant arm the heart rate is usually slightly easier to read because it's a stronger rhythm. Crown direction, so you can set the crown direction to right side or left side, so you change the hand, so depending on which wrist you're wearing it on, you can choose to either rotate it upwards or downwards for specific navigation. So one nice thing I find about the Suunto watches is you've got a few different watch faces to choose from at the moment. Right, so the way that you activate them is going to control panel, customize, watch face. So you got various watch faces which have different sets of information, and you can edit the little sub windows there for very specific bits of information. And then you can set, once you selected the watch face, you can set the color for those watch face. Press the crown button to choose that watch face and color. Ever go back, it's back. So you can edit the widget, so you can add up to 6 apps at any one time. And you can set the button shortcuts. Once you long press, goes into a specific mode of your choosing. So very running focused watch, which is lightweight, compact in terms of thickness. You hardly notice it's on your wrist. It's got some really nice built-in run specific routines, such as a marathon, which I love, which gives you at a glance information such as estimated finish time, your current pace per kilometer, your distance, and your overall kind of progress plus heart rate. The watch has built-in battery management programs which allow you to either focus on accuracy and performance, so capture every last detail that you can, or if you're limited by battery life, like for instance you need to conserve your battery, then you can switch off as much functionality as you need to be able to better manage the battery and get a much better battery experience out of it. Now, it's suggested that if you turn off much of the functionality, you can actually push this battery to up to 12 days. 4 to 5 days is pretty good, in fact very good for me. Everyday watch now. It's got 4 GB storing music. I think the touchscreen swiping up, down, left and right works far better than the Crown does, with a nice touch responsive screen. The 2 other things I wasn't overly keen on was the inclusion of a fabric strap. The charger has a very short length of cable. So that concludes this video. If you need any specific things clarified, please leave a comment. Thanks very much for watching the video, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.